we start this new season. I don't know. How did you feel about like taking that risk?
I think everyone, like all of us, when we start, we're not sure, right? Because they think that it's a dreamy life, what we are living. There are struggles behind it.
Actually, Dubai spoils us, right?
It's not easy to get the slots. You know, whether are we doing the right thing? Like, did I do a mistake by quitting? But I think it's an ongoing process.
Thank you for making it like easy for me, first of all, like because for a long time I was thinking I won't be able to do this. So yeah, coming back to the point. So we have beautiful people here, amazing, great individuals. But I thought I'll give the introduction about you guys, but then I thought it's better you guys talk about you from your childhood, how you reached here, and we will talk more about your journey and everything. So maybe you can start.
So, I'm Nishita, as you guys already know. So, I born in Kerala, Payyanur, and I studied civil engineering. Immediately after the graduation, I moved to Dubai, started working. Almost 7 years, I work hard. And then I realized, actually, it's a gradual realization. Then I realized that this is not the place I supposed to be. Then I quit the job. Then I started following my passion. So I'm a person who's into fitness as well as traveling. Then I found that's me and that's how I supposed to live. And then I found my passion. I started following it. I have a brand called Sweatstrong. It's a fitness brand, fitness clothing brand, as well as I have a fitness community here in Dubai. Also, I have a travel company. It's called Mountain Sea.
Okay. So I think like for me, the one of the journey like where I started like working behind podcast is also with Sweatstrong, right? So we'll come more on to that. But then with Sunaina, you can talk everything about from your childhood until today. And yeah.
5 years, I can't believe. Like 30, 34. So my name is Sunaina. I'm born and brought up in Bangalore. I'm a single child and did my entire education in Bangalore until masters. So I went to Manipal to do my masters. Studied finance, got into a corporate job. In a year, I got a job in Dubai. A friend of mine was here and she told me there is an opportunity. Why don't you come? And I was 23 and I was like, you know what? Like, I think I found my dream job. So I moved to Dubai, worked in a couple of companies here. And my passion always was to be in something creative. And I think as a child, I was very creative. I used to love art, craft, and also like kind of enterprising. If you gave me 100 rupees, I knew like how I can make 150 rupees. Like in a very subtle way, not in a big sense, but that's when, COVID happened. I was working and then COVID happened. That's when I realized that let me reignite this passion and see if I really enjoy this. So I moved into JVC. That's the place where we met.
Okay.
I took an unfurnished little studio and thrifted everything from Dubizzle. Literally every single thing from Dubizzle. Learned a little bit of drilling and how to paint. All of these things, right? So that's when I realized, okay, you know what? I love doing this. To see an empty space come into life, where the whole, experience changes. That's how I started my design journey. 2 years into it, I was working and I was doing as a side hustle, in a very small scale. And 2022, I realized, okay, you know what? I think it's time I quit, take this leap of faith and see where it goes. I think everyone, like all of us, when we start, we're not sure, right? Like we've had this discussion that, whether we're doing the right thing. Like, did I do a mistake by quitting? But I think it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years and I'm loving what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming to that point, like when I was thinking about like inviting guests, this is one common thing which you both had. Like you guys had a really good job, and you quit the job and like started full-time entrepreneurship. How did you feel about like taking that risk? Because most of the people think about that for several years and then they might or they might not. And some people will, again, like coming back to that discussion, like some people think, okay, have I done the right decision or have I not? So what was your thought process when you actually quit that job?
That question always come to the mind.
So I mean, for me, like, again, my journey, when I say how I quit, for almost like for 3 years, I was thinking, I'll quit. but I didn't have that ability to take that risk. Maybe I say I didn't know what will be the future, right? But then we took the risk. Me and Zara, we discussed, if you want to take a risk, this is the right time. Like later in our life, maybe it won't be easy.
Yeah.
Then we took, and that's how we started social. Then now Zara is doing her own stuff. I'm doing like focusing more on social.
So my situation, every single day morning, I get up and I will think about this. Did I took the right decision? So sometimes some days will be super confusing. Some days will be like I'm
Super
so glad.
clarity.
Yeah, like some days will be like super confusing, and some days are like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. What I took the decision is like the right one. Especially coming from the like middle class family, because our parents gave the 100% to give us the education, because they had the dream that like I have to become in education wise I have to be in that position, because they didn't get that good education, so they wanted me and my brother has to get it properly. So like taking the decision that after getting good job, good pay, everything was like very smooth, like almost everything is going very smooth in Dubai, living that happy
It's also a perception, right? Like people back home think very glorious of people
Yes.
living in
Living in
Dubai.
Dubai.
Like now, I know my friends went to New York and they're like, it's not great. You know, it's not an American dream. Like I think it's
True.
always how people perceive. Like we'll be
True.
slogging here, but they'll be thinking.
That is
they don't know what is happening through in our, especially me as a kid. I can't just sit somewhere and do anything. Like I'm not a person who can just sit in front of a laptop and do, because I'm that hyper kid. I just have to go do something new. Like especially during the childhood time also, I used to like dance a lot, and I used to every single time I try different new dance forms. So I am that kid. I can't sit at home and I can't do the laptop work. So I need something new every time. So after coming back to Dubai, it was everything like a monotonous. The work is like just sitting, doing just the laptop work was made me so bored. Then I took the decision that, okay, I have to quit the job. And the decision also was not the immediate one. So every time, whenever I go for hiking, whenever I go for like the trip, always that fuel come into the fire. Okay, I have to do something related to what I like, what my passion is to be. So
yeah. So also like we think like we work 9 to 6 days a week. Now it's like 24/7. There is no off.
That's its own person, right? Like,
Exactly. But also like you mentioned about like Dubai, right? Dubai, and like you talked about US dream and people don't like it. Actually, Dubai spoils us, right? In a way, we don't like any other places we go to. We always wish to come back as soon as possible. So yeah, that's what I feel about Dubai. And you mentioned you are a single child. How was the feeling like? How was it growing up?
growing up was, I mean, I had my own struggles because, you know, I don't have another sibling to share things with, right? Like, it was very aloof kid. You know, I was this Tare Zameen Par kind of, not literally, but I would be in my own space. Like, I would never watch TV. Like, now when people ask me, did you watch this cartoon? I'm like, no. And, you know, they get surprised that you didn't watch this cartoon. I'm like, no, because I think I was just always into sketching, crafting, some kind of art. So I was always into that. And also for me, like moving to Dubai was not for me. I know it was a very big change for my mom because it's a single child and nobody in my family had moved. None of my cousin sisters had moved abroad, and especially not to a Gulf country. You know, they also had like different perceptions about, you know, they've not seen another country, right? Especially Gulf. And for me to like take that plunge and say, no, I am going to Dubai and I want to get this job. I want to grow there, right? So, and also I feel like I could relate whenever you said middle class, because I think somewhere it gives you the power to take risks and just to get started, because there's no backup. Like the only backup is your mind and your effort, right? So you know that if you take this risk, you fail and you can bounce back. You're not really dependent on anything else. There's no backup. So I think that gives us the fuel to like restart many times.
Because we have seen a lot of different lives, like especially the parents also gone through a lot. So we have seen them how they also like went through, how they also grown. So
Struggle.
the struggle,
Like all of us working for a certain period of time also gives a confidence. Like I was so underconfident when I came to Dubai or when I just started my career, right? I think that financial freedom also gives you
very true.
like some comfort, and you know that, okay, you know what, if I could earn that much in a 9 to 6 job, and if I put 24 hours into my own business, I know I can make more, right?
So is it also like, can you make it in the first month or first year?
Depends. I mean, I don't know.
No, depends on the sector.
I mean, also all the,
Yeah.
and does all the people have that patience to wait for that long? Because usually like all the businesses, like it takes at least 5 years to see some growth and some good revenue you have and a comfortable life. But I don't think like a lot of people, I have recently like talked to someone, they said a lot of companies who started in COVID, they couldn't move forward because it has to be consistent, right? So that is one thing. Like for 5 years, we have to work continuously.
I think the first year just goes in figuring out if you are capable to do this. Or
And what you
you're
want.
learning every job, right? Like, I'm sure, like, you know, surprisingly, I've done travel and tourism in BCom.
Okay,
I just remember that.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure for her, like, she has to do itinerary, like booking, accounts, like, she has to manage social media,
Everything,
like, everything,
yeah.
right? You're tapping into, like, so many departments. I think the first year goes in that.
And understanding, and also you are a creator as well, like you create good content, and I think most of your business and most of your work comes through Instagram. So how was that, like how did you figure that out?
Honestly, I mean, the space where I took and refurbished, right? I just wanted to put my own house pictures on social media, and I called it Soul Space. There was no goal to that, oh, one day I will quit my corporate job and then open. It was not that. It was just that, okay, you know, I've created one small space for myself. I'll put it on Instagram, you know, keep spamming people with my own house pictures, right? And then I came across a friend of mine who said, oh, this is what you do, like as a hobby, and you know, why don't you do it for someone else? So it grew that way. And also because I shifted my careers from finance to design, I think I kept putting that on Instagram as well as a story. Here.
Okay, so you used to talk about that.
Not talk
You
about
had
it. I think this is the first time I'm talking on camera, but I was
Okay.
always camera shy. But I would put it in my stories that
Okay.
you know, I've shifted my careers and my challenges. So a lot of people who followed me, I think they keep messaging me even now, saying, "How did you quit? Like, you know, what was your thought process? Like, yeah,
the same way,
yeah.
the same
How
way.
like more of guidance.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
people also wanted that dreamy life because they think that it's a dreamy life what we are living. But there are obviously it's a dreamy life only. I'm
It
not
is,
saying that
yeah.
it is not a dreamy life. It's a dreamy life only, but there are struggle behind it.
Yeah.
So taking the challenge to quit the job and like complete deviation to another field, it's not easy.
exactly.
Because we were like in a complete,
Bubble.
we were like in a situation where we are getting money, like in a proper aram say we can just chill in that kind of a money we were getting. But suddenly we are not, we wanted to stop that money and we are taking a deviation in a different way. And almost a year or maybe almost 2 years, we will not get anything from that particular, from that particular place or from that particular, what is it called?
Your job project.
Yeah, the job. So we have to be mentally prepared also for that.
You will have like, for sure, you will have like difficult times, both mentally, financially during the first year. So I think like we will ask, we'll talk about other stuff also in between, especially because you travel a lot.
Yeah.
It's like now it's part of your life and your work and everything. I don't think like I have talked to so many people back in India, like my relatives, whoever, they don't, if you take like 10 people, maybe just one person travels a lot.
Yes.
But whereas in Dubai, the percentage of people who are traveling is quite a lot.
I think that's because of the financial independency, because I'm getting a lot of questions and a lot of messages, the people who are living in India and the people who are living in Dubai. Because in India, the people are more worried about their income and they are more worried about their vacation It's not easy like when we are working in UAE, because in UAE, I can say that we are getting a stable income compared to India. For sure, we are getting a stable income in India, as well as we have a like fixed vacations.
Yeah.
Eid break.
Yeah.
So Eid break, I think half of the Dubai will travel during the Eid break, right?
Summer holidays. Well.
Summer holidays, and we have fixed vacation, as well as along with that we have the 28 days car leave. So we can just collab with that leave along with the break, and we
Holidays,
can just travel. And people are showing that also in social media, especially now. People are not worried about the financial stability, especially after the COVID.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of people are started traveling. They are not worrying about the life, and people are ready to do adventure stuff, like ready to do more than just going and taking pictures. The people are ready to experience the life.
Yeah, that's what like after COVID, especially this term is there, right? Revenge tourism.
Yes.
It has like the tourism has increased a lot, and especially cities like Barcelona, they are like, we don't want tourists anymore. They were because Airbnb, the prices is going up for the stay. So it's also happening on the other side. How about you? Like how Dubai helped you?
In term, not travel, but as a business.
As a business, as an individual, it can be
And
anything.
you also travel.
Yeah, I also travel.
Done solo travel.
I have done solo travel and stuff. For me, I think, honestly, when I came to Dubai, I took a loan of 50,000 because I didn't want to like obviously burden my parents to like sponsor me, right? So I remember taking that loan of 50,000 to book my tickets and to come here and settle and start your own business and employ people here. I give it to the place because I think it's just very easy to like set up, right? There's no bureaucracy. You know, when you want to start a new business, you're not stressed about starting a new business. Yes, the process is stressful for sure, but I think just getting started is not stressful, right? I had to just consult somebody, request like what documents are required. It's very easy.
In a
couple of days, I had my trade license. And everything, like commute. Because I am in a field where, I go from Arabian ranches to Sharjah and so many different directions because of my work. If I'm not having good infrastructure to travel, I would have hated it. And I've also done projects in Bangalore.
Okay, I have a disagreement.
Bitch about Bangalore. Then people will
okay.
Yeah. But I have a
traffic.
no, but I have a disagreement with transport, because like the public transport is not as good as like any other place in the world.
Also,
right?
When you have license.
When you have license.
When you have license, if you don't have car and license,
No,
like
then
you're like
see,
handicapped.
You pick your priorities, right? Like if you want to do a business and my business involves me traveling to 10 different places, I better get a license.
Yeah.
It's that, right?
Yeah.
I think like whoever comes to Dubai, I think the second year they are ready to take the license, because that is the best.
Yeah.
If without license, you're like handicapped.
True. That is true.
Yeah. We'll come back to the traveling bit, because for me personally, I used to travel a lot. After COVID, I haven't done anything.
We should travel somewhere too.
Yeah, for sure. Mountain Meets is sponsored.
Social custom content creator. I don't know what I do.
Okay, so you have done, your travel and your travel stories are very different from most people, because you have a very different story. What is the most memorable travel you ever had?
A lot, actually. Before that, so when me and my cousin have started the travel company, so the concept all about the concept was so most of the travel companies, because there are a lot of travel companies and there are a lot of travel things are happening, right? So we wanted in a different way, where the people are not just going to go and just click the pictures and come back. The people has to be tell the stories. More than showing the pictures, we want the people to tell the stories to other person. Like, okay, I have done this activities and I have jumped into the water. I have climbed that mountain. So we need that kind of travel and tourism to promote through Mountain Meets. So that's how we started. So experience, I can say, A lot actually. Every single trip
was-
is a new.
How was the last 1 month mountaineering?
Oh, mountaineering was okay. So mountaineering,
Military?
it's kind of defense training, kind of completely a defense training, I should say. That was a dream, I should say. Not only dream, I felt that I have to be physically and I have to be mentally ready for doing all this kind of trips because mountaineering will prep us, completely will prep us. So this was a dream. I wanted to do this mountaineering course since last 2 years, but it's not easy to get the opportunity. I mean, it's not easy to get the slots to attend for the course. Because there are different institutes in India. It's all around. The people are coming from all around the world to attend this mountaineering course. So when I have done the training, I came back with a different person because every single trip, whenever I come back, I can say that I'm a new person. New person in the sense I always try to learn different things from that particular city or particular trip. So that is the same thing happened in mountaineering also. So recently I went to Uzbek. So I just wanted to include why, because recently I went to Uzbek. So usually whenever I travel, so I was more worried about my nails, my appearance, my hair, my clothes, what I'm going to wear. Okay, so in this particular place, I'm going to click picture in this way. So I was that kind of a person. But so this Uzbek trip, all of a sudden we have planned, like 3 days back, me and my husband planned. So this was like, so I was not least bothered in the sense I haven't packed like 1 hour back also the flying time. So I was not worried about my nails. I was not worried that I didn't do wax. So I was not worried about my hair. I didn't thread. So I'm just, why I was saying is because it completely changed me as a person.
Your mindset.
And the mountaineering, everything has changed me as a person because my perspective has changed. The travel is, obviously there are a lot of people, perspective is a different way, but my perspective in travel has changed. And it's not about just going and seeing the place. It's more about understanding the culture. It's more about trying cuisines, and it's more about learning from the people who we are seeing. The same thing, yeah. So mountaineering, coming back to mountaineering, it completely developed me as a different person, I should say. Because physically, mentally, everything has changed and very different experience.
And is it something like anybody can do or?
Not really. I don't think everybody can do it, but the person has to be completely ready for that.
Ready as in like physically?
Physically as well. Because physically, almost in a month, we walk nearly 280 kilometers, like I can say 300 kilometers. And the 300 kilometers...
10 kilometers on an average, but also with an elevation.
Yeah, that's what. So 300 kilometers is actually easy. If we are walking the normal road, 300 kilometers is not... In a month, it's very easy, not tough. But we are walking with the elevation. So, and the elevation...
How is the weather? Cold?
It's cold, yeah. It was cold. Some areas were like... in campus, it was okay. The weather was like pleasant. But the training, the base camp weather was like nearly minus 10 to 5, I should say. But the problem is we didn't have watch. Watch in the sense we didn't have networks to see what is the weather.
Okay.
So we don't care about what is happening. And the best part is we all are staying in a small place. As you mentioned, Dubai spoil us, right? Dubai spoil us. But in a way that I felt that these kind of trips gives me like a kick. Okay.
Reality check.
Yeah, reality check. So you are living in this way also kind of.
You can also live, exactly.
Yeah.
I think like, even let's say, for example, even for a very small inconvenience when you travel, like you will be like, it's not good. Dubai is great. I remember like one time, when we were traveling, so as a restaurant, we kept our bags and went to order. And the person sitting next to us like, what are you doing? Take your bag and leave. Because we had cameras and stuff. Because we just keep the phone to book the space and go, right? So, and also the same question like with mountaineering. How did you find about this? Because this is very unique. Not everybody know about that. I only came to know once you started posting and you on your stories for Instagram. So how did you find about this particular course?
So basically, when I went for the Everest Base Camp, so that time I got to know about this. Like, so there are particular places who teach us how properly, like what to say. So there are places who teach us how we can properly access to the mountains, because mountain is not the place where you can just randomly go and come back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have to learn the techniques. So we have to mentally prepare for that, like for the climb and whatever activities we are going to do. So when I went to the Everest Base Camp, one of my friends told me that so there are places who help us to climb in a better way, like who help us to. It's mountaineering is not just climbing Everest or not just going.
Yeah.
Going to any other mountains. It's all about technique, as well as it's all about the mental thing. So it's all
Okay,
about,
it's in your mind. Yes, it's a mindset.
that's it. It's in our mindset.
Okay.
So I can say that it's a
Okay.
survival thing, because how we are surviving in the weather, how we are surviving, because we can expect the snowstorm, we can expect not. The food will be like not as much like
Yeah.
what we are expecting. Like it's not going to be what we are eating in a normal way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the food, so we don't feel like eating sometimes, but we have to eat
To keep up
just
with
to-
the energy.
Yeah.
just to fuel us. So it's all about the survival. So it's the mountaineering will teach us to survive.
Also, how to adapt, right? With any
Yeah.
situation, you have to
Yeah.
shift your mindset very quickly.
Exactly.
That-
I think that is one of the, and I remember like you talking about the documentary on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how mountains came to my life through that documentary, I should say.
I forgot
14
that.
Peaks.
Yeah, 14 Peaks. Yeah.
14 Peaks. So mountaineering is, because I was a normal girl, I was more into art form than these kind of
Yeah.
activities. So suddenly when I started seeing, I was always doing fitness was there. But suddenly when I saw this movie, it got me realize that, okay, there are something. And few of my friends also helped me. Like, I have really good connection in Instagram. I should say that. I should appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really have good friends who are really inspiring me to do different kind of stuff. And few of my friends also suggested me this. And yeah.
Okay. So we'll come back to you about your solo traveling now. Because like I would definitely ask about traveling, because that is one topic I like.
Yeah.
And even if you like, we will also understand our likings by just looking at our Instagram.
Yeah.
So we can see.
Yeah.
I can say like, in mine it's a lot. So how was your experience?
Hiking almost a month.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah?
In
Where?
yeah, in 2019.
No, but where?
Where in Central Europe, from Switzerland to Prague.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I can do that now. Really, I don't know. I
Just a mindset.
probably.
It is.
I just have to
Yeah,
go and do it. Then
Yeah.
by sitting here, I feel like I might not be able to do.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I
Even
used-
now when I think,
Mountaineering, and I was more worried. I was not telling this to anyone, but I was just pushing my, giving all the pressure to my partner. I was just telling him that I don't think I can do that. I don't know how I'm going to survive. He was like, chill, bro, you can do it. Like, who else can do it? And that's how my partner pushed me. That's how he gave me that, okay, tongue.
While listening this podcast, you will be very happy.
Okay.
While he's just listening already. Oh my god. Okay, coming back to solo, because I used to
Yeah.
travel solo as well.
yeah.
I think maybe I stopped.
Yeah. I've not
Traveling
done
after
a lot of
getting married.
solo, but I've done what, like 3?
Where?
First trip was Hampi in India.
Oh wow.
That was 3 days. And I think that was very impromptu. I just packed my bags. This was, I came to Dubai in 2015, and when I went back to India for the first time, I was like, you know what? I want to do a solo trip.
Nice.
Like, that 28 days leave that we get, right? 15 days I was with my family and maybe another few days with my friends. And I took 4 days to just go to Hampi. And everybody is like, you've only come for these many days and then you're going alone. But that changed for me, because as a person, like I enjoy company, right? Like I've never spent, although like as a child I've spent time alone, but now I don't like, I'm a person who likes company and then hanging out with people and hearing their stories, like all of those things. So for me, when I went to solo trip, I was like, what do I do? Like there's no itinerary, right? Like, okay, how do I plan my day? Should I talk to this person? Should I not talk to this person? There was fear because I think, also when we hear that it's not safe to travel in India, it's all bullshit, right? Like you choose your safety. So I remember just booking a shack and meeting so many different people from so many different states who had come. It was a very different experience. And I think to just interact with a stranger is also a new experience, right? Like when you're going on a trip.
True.
Yeah. So Hampi happened and then I went to Georgia and Azerbaijan for 14 days.
Oh.
Yeah. So I did it together. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
This was pre-COVID.
Oh, okay.
So even that was amazing. Like, I loved it.
So where did you stay during the time?
So in Georgia, I stayed in a hostel, Fabrica. I don't know if you've heard of Fabrica. It's an amazing hostel. Like whoever is going to Georgia, like I'm promoting Fabrica, like should really go. I think also because I like aesthetics, right? I like going to pretty places and like places which has history and some architecture, some character. So when I stayed in Fabrica, I think one of the reason also maybe I perceived interior so seriously is because of that place. Because it's so beautifully done. It's a hostel, but the lobby to the restaurant to the cafes in the building, just how the room is done up, like everything was like, oh my God, a hostel need not be boring, because we hear hostel as something so boring, right? Growing up, I studied in hostel. It's just a boring thing.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
But for me, that experience changed my life. And I also met a few people from Armenia. And then we tagged along and we went to Azerbaijan.
So that's the best part.
Yeah.
During the travel, when we meet like random people,
Yeah.
and then later they will become as our travel buddies.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. Even last week I was texting her, saying how's Armenia? Like because I've not done Armenia, I was asking her, and then she's like, yeah, you should come. And she works in a hotel.
So she's from Armenia.
She's from Armenia.
So they can travel to Azerbaijan?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
not now. Maybe in 2018. I don't know about now.
Ah, okay.
They are like-
Now they have some
Acha, okay,
some
yeah,
issues.
yeah,
No, because when we traveled, they asked, why did you go to Azerbaijan?
No, I think this girl had a Russian passport. Maybe
Probably.
that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
But
Okay.
for me, like just spending time with my own self was something very liberating. Like,
And also,
which is still a work in progress. But
and also, I think one more thing is that you know that there is no one you know and they won't judge. Probably.
true. That is true.
So you are very
Yeah.
free.
Very uninhabited. What do you call it?
You're yourself.
Uninhabited. No. What is that word? Inhabited.
Inhabited.
No.
You mean
Uninhibited.
Okay. Probably. And also, I think now, like especially after COVID, people get to know a lot more about hostel culture.
Yeah.
Before that, I think it wasn't aware. Probably in the 2010 or something, like in India, Zostel, they started.
Yeah.
And Zostel has a good network across South Asia.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys, I have never stayed in hostel.
Or Zostel or hostel?
Hostel I have.
Yeah.
I mean, Zostel.
Yeah. It's a chain of.
Yeah, it's a chain, it's a franchisee. It's a really good, I mean, they have a really good branding.
Yeah.
About hostel I
But people only came to know about, especially people from India came to know more about hostel through Zostel.
Okay.
And they have a really strong social media as well at the moment.
Yeah.
I have one question for you, and the same question goes to you, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So there is someone like you who wants to travel alone to a different country. What should they do? Step by step, like forget about like tickets,
Yeah.
visa.
Yeah.
You can even start talking about stays, because hostel is not something everybody knows.
Correct. I don't know. I'm a very impromptu traveler.
Yeah, you
Like-
can tell that.
Yeah. I mean, for
Book
me.
your flight tickets.
Yeah. It just, that's
it.
it.
Just book your flight tickets, one night ka stay. That's enough.
And this 14 days, I booked 2 days before.
Okay.
It was not something that I was looking forward to, that, I planned for a long time, that, okay. It was just that I was like, okay, I have this break. I have nothing else to do. Let me do a solo trip. And I booked 2 days before. And that turned out to be like one of the best experiences, right?
Do you like take insurance when you travel?
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the tickets come with insurance when you're booking.
Through the credit card or something?
Yeah.
I take the yearly insurance.
Okay. Across the world, right?
Adventure activities and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
US will be expensive.
Yeah, I think just be, I would say, very instinctive about what places you like. For example, I'm not a big fan of beaches. I don't know swimming. I'm hydrophobic. So there's no point me just...
Wait for the next scene.
This is the sign for you to go.
Yeah, I mean, I should come over that fear. But like I said, just because somebody else is posting something on Instagram or social media that they went to a beach, don't get carried away by that and then just go to that place. I've seen a lot of people who see something on Instagram and they travel and they're like, I didn't like it. I absolutely didn't enjoy that place. Because maybe that's their liking.
Person to person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I had gone to Georgia before and I knew I'm going back. Then I just combined with Azerbaijan. That's how it
Georgia has different opinion because Georgia, what the people used to do is they will just go to Tbilisi.
Yeah.
And then
Stay in
Godavari.
the city, do some gambling. Then eat some good food, come back, and they will bitch about Georgia.
Yeah.
They will not go inside the country.
True. The countryside is so
beautiful.
Yeah. Countryside is really good.
Yeah.
And there are so many beautiful places as well.
And also there's a difference between being a tourist and a traveler, right? Yeah. I think we fall into the traveler category, not a tourist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently, it was some podcast or reel where a person said, if you're traveling to a country, don't put 20 things in your itinerary and just, get displaced. Like, it's okay, go to that country 5 times, but focus on, few places and stay there for longer. That's when you like experience. Yeah.
Make it slow.
Yeah. And also,
The locals.
yeah. And also like maybe pick up an activity and then go for it, like how you do.
Yeah.
So, should I ask the same question?
Sorry, I didn't give any one step also.
It's okay. It's fine. That is a good answer. Like, that's how it is. Same questions to you. How do you like plan your travel? So somebody who wants to like do any of the activity which you usually do, right? So how should they approach it?
So basically, before I just randomly go to the place and find out what is the activities happening around that place. But now I have to plan it properly since my job is that.
Yeah.
So I have to
Your own venture.
Yeah. So I have to plan it properly. So I have to research what is the good activity, what is the safest activity. Since I'm bringing customers, I have to consider the safety as well. So if I am the person, if I am traveling with my friends, I can just randomly go and do the waiver form signing and do the activities. But now everything has to be considered since a person coming to us and asking like what are the activities, what is the safety side, because different characters will come to our life through the travel. So they have a lot of questions because we can't say bad to them also because they are new into it. So they are more worried. They don't know what is going to happen also, right? So always excited to answer to those people. So what I used to do is I used to research. I do research a lot of researching about the particular country. Since now we have the ChatGPT, it's like helpfully saver because we'll get all the details, like what all the activities, the major activities we can do and everything. So that's how I plan the activities. Like I always try to go for the experience.
Okay.
Just going and seeing the place.
So you choose one experience, then find where the experience is, then try to book and find all the regulations.
Find the good vendors over there.
Okay.
Try to find the proper vendors and like a good vendors, like who has proper license back in the
reviews.
Yes, reviews and everything. Then only we'll book them.
Okay.
That's all.
So you are talking in more about Mountain Meets Sea, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you mean by Mountain Meets Sea?
So I'm a mountain person. So if you ask me where I want to live after like maybe 40s, I can be a.
So you're saying like at 40 you will retire.
I'm already retired, God, retired. I'm living my life now.
True.
Retired.
Okay.
So I can be a pahadi.
Okay.
So I'm a complete mountain person, I should say. So I will get that serenity. I will get that fulfillness when I go to the mountains.
Mm.
I can live in Himalayas. I think I can be that monk, I guess. My friends used to say, so immediately after coming back from the trip, I'll be in a shabby dress. I'll be like, I won't cut my hair, I won't do anything. So my friends used to say that, I think soon you're going to be a sannyasi.
But she has two personalities.
Yeah.
Like either hippie or she's be like properly like decked out.
Yeah. Alter egos.
Sometimes it's needed.
When you travel, you definitely go into a different
Correct.
mood, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you become a different person altogether.
So
Yeah.
coming back to the Mountain Meet Sea, so me and my cousin has started the company. So she's also exactly like me. Like we both share the same character, but she loves sea and I love mountains. So that's how, it's a very simple concept. That's how we come up like Mountain Meet Sea. Very simple name.
Now you do like trips to both mountain and
Mountains. So
and
wherever we
sea as
travel,
well.
we try to find out the activities in mountains and we try to find out the activities in sea. So in one once in a month, one trip towards mountains and one trip is going to be towards sea. With all the activities. Not just going, clicking pictures and come back.
Yeah.
All activities.
Okay. And
Live.
so you also mentioned that your friends support you on the adventurous trips. So also those friends are part of your fitness community.
Yes.
Okay. So talk little more about Sweatstrong community and Sweatstrong as well.
Okay, so Sweatstrong is the brand me and my husband started. So it was all about born with the passion. So because we both share the same passion. So that's how Sweatstrong born. So when we started the brand, the major goal behind was I should say marketing goal. Obviously that was Zara's idea. I should really appreciate Zara. So like 4 years.
Cut this from the video. let her not see that.
Yeah. So when we started the community, when we started the brand, we also wanted to build a community where people can celebrate fitness. The tagline was celebrate, right? When we were talking.
Yeah, differently you.
Yeah, differently you and celebrate fitness. It's not because in Dubai, I can say that fitness is kind of an expensive.
Yeah, it is.
It is kind of expensive in Dubai.
Yeah.
So most of the people can't afford that. So that is the reason we have started the community here in Dubai. But there are people who are attending from Abu Dhabi and there are people who are coming to the activities from Sharjah and all other part of other Emirates. So we started the community where the people can come and do the activities free of cost.
Okay.
So we have Run Club is running. There are
For swimming,
we have swimming sessions, swimming free means we are doing it for free. So there are one guy called Aniska is doing the swimming session. So he is Ironman. So he is conducting swimming session. He is doing for free. So he's teaching everybody swimming who doesn't know swim. And we have skating is happening. Skating is conducting by Fahad. He's also Hyper One. And we have hiking is happening. Hiking is conducted by Nitin. So I have really a good bunch of friends who are really into fitness, who are really ready to invest time for fitness and help people. I should say I'm really grateful for them. Because of them, Sweatstrong community is alive.
So you have around 500 people in the
Now,
community.
yeah,
right?
nearly 350 people are there in the
350
community. We started with 5 or 10.
Okay.
Now it's like growing, happily growing. Just 1 year the community started.
Okay.
So every single day we have different activities are happening.
So I know I'm asking I'm actually asking questions rather than making conversation. But anyway, you mentioned about like you have a project in Tanzania, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to connect that with the travel part. So
Yeah.
you went there now.
Actually, that was my last solo trip then.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
very quick. It was just for 4 days. Yeah,
In Tanzania.
In
How's the
Tanzania.
place?
beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, I only saw it like
So, which part of Tanzania?
Dar es Salaam.
Okay, that's
Yeah, Dar es Salaam. So I saw just a bit of Tanzania, but I really want to do safari and Masai Mara. I'm going in September.
Okay.
I think that's when the migration happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
August, I think.
That is in Kenya, right?
Kenya-
No, and Tanzania also.
Kenya
okay.
to Tanzania.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's how-
shares the national park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both the countries.
So, like, you are working on a project. Do you want to talk a lot? I mean, a bit more about that project, or you want to skip that part?
I want to skip because it's
Okay.
NDA.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but I mean, we can talk about Tanzania project, but I can't reveal.
No. Yeah.
Project.
I mean,
Yeah.
my question is that,
Yeah.
like, as a person who is living in Dubai, how are you managing a project in Tanzania? And I know, like, that's a big project, right? So
Yeah.
how are you managing it?
So I think one of the things I've learned from my corporate job is if you have a good system and you're organized, you can plan well, you can literally work from anywhere. Like, because I've stayed in Dubai and done projects in Bangalore. I've stayed in Bangalore and done projects in Dubai. And now when this Tanzania opportunity came, I didn't see it as like a big hurdle. You know, I was like, all you need, you have internet, you know, you can make video calls. Everything has a software and transport is great. And Dubai is the hub for transport and shipping and all of that. So I don't think I looked at it as a challenge. And also like we have a team there, contracting team. So it's like good coordination is what it requires. And also like I will be traveling a few times to see, you know, how
Yeah.
the
So,
project-
and this came through Instagram?
This came through one of my clients.
Okay. So Instagram has a role to play in this project. Not directly, but indirectly.
Indirectly, yes. Yeah. And
Okay.
also 80% of my clients come from Instagram, which I'm very grateful for.
Okay. So how do you do that? Yeah, that is
I don't
great.
know. Again, there's no strategy. I'm just consistent.
You are just being yourself.
I'm just consistent. Even the days I hate to post,
We have to.
I post it.
Okay.
And you know, it's contradictory, right? Like, for example, I'll tell you, like, I would have just spoken to my friend and let's say I'm not mentally doing well or whatever. Like, I'm not happy that day for whatever reason. And then 2 minutes later, she'll see my post about some happy, you know, site visit. And she's like, you were just, I'm like, dude, this is my job. I have to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think being consistent on social media and also, I think Dubai is such a fast-paced city, right? Like you reach out to a vendor, if he doesn't get back to you in one day, you will go to a next vendor.
Yeah.
As simple as that. People don't have patience, they don't have time, money is involved. So I think when people reach out to me, my, I don't know, strategy or whatever you call it, is to connect with them as soon as possible. You know, and set up a meeting as soon as possible.
Yeah. Otherwise, like they become cold as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So we always say that when you have a business, like not every day is a good day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have really a good day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have the worst of the days, right?
Yeah.
So how do you like manage those situations? Like what goes in your head?
I mean, it's a very deep question.
Yeah. Because to be honest, like I always think about that quite a lot. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I just don't want to do anything. I'll just sit somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to write. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Or maybe I'll just go somewhere, sit where it is a bright cafe and drink coffee.
Yeah.
And again, then I try to write. Then it helps. That is how I
Yeah.
face that. So how do you do that? Like,
See, for me, like when I had a job, after a point, although like, you know, that I would call it my dream job, right? And then it fades away after a few years. Any dream job,
Yeah.
I feel like it fades away. And then every day you wake up thinking, oh, I have to do this. I have to go to work. Like Monday, right? For me, ever since I started this, there are tough days, 100%. But there is no consistent, like waking up to, oh, I don't want to do this, you know? So for me, as long as I'm not getting that feeling, I'm good. Like these hardships, I think,
it's part and parcel.
part of every business, right? It's not something we are experiencing for the first time that, oh,
not completely
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I always
And-
get that, like, am I doing the right thing?
yeah.
Because quitting that comfortable job and taking this challenge is.
And also, like you mentioned about being organized, building a system.
Yeah.
And also, other thing is like our discipline. Will that all help?
To some extent, for sure.
Okay.
I think having a good system, a plan really helps, right? Like you don't want to be like clueless about how your days are going. For sure, like I'm sure any business person, like when they start over a period of time, they will put some system in place, right? So today, for example, I'm here. Like I should not be sitting and worrying that whether my project is going well. So for that, I have a team who knows what to do, right? I'm sure like even for you,
Yeah.
it will be the same. So I would say these are just part and parcel of business. But I think for it personally, like in my nature of business, we deal with so many people, like clients, right? And then our, what do you call it? Collaboration with them is not for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. It runs for 6 months, sometimes 9 months, sometimes 1.5 years when we are doing a project. So it's I keep saying that it's almost like dating a person. For me, in my business, that's the hardest part.
Okay.
Because you literally get, especially that I'm doing residential projects, you get into their mindset, like how where the kid eats to, which side of the bed they sleep on, to where the grandmother prays. Like there's so much information that's getting loaded, and not from one project, like multiple projects.
So you'll also get an interior designer along with the client sometimes. They will
really.
design it for you.
Yeah, sometimes. But no, yeah, I think for us, like for me, it's the psychology that is like I was never people's person, you know what I mean? Like I was not very good at
Talking to the people.
yeah, like
Or dealing with
having
the people facing,
conversations.
having one.
Like I take time.
conversation.
Yeah, I take time to I take time to make friends, and then it's easy. But for me, like to do this on a everyday basis, it's everyday sales, everyday accounts, everyday like HR dealing with your team, right? So I think for me, the psychology of understanding people has been the biggest challenge.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
like most of us has that, right? Like when
Yeah.
we face the clients, or they are again an individual.
Yeah.
So we'll have that difficulty.
Yeah, I think when it comes to doing a house, it's different because for them it's like their dream house.
Yeah.
They've put all their money into that, and there's a lot of pressure on like getting the things right
Yeah,
to
that's
the
true.
T. And it's not one person; it's husband, wife, kid number 1, 2, 3, father-in-law, mother-in-law. Like it's the whole ecosystem that we deal with. Yeah,
Okay.
Opinions.
yeah,
Okay.
different opinions.
So are you a people person? Do you think like you can? So it's much more easier for you, right?
Yeah, but sometimes you'll burn out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because dealing a lot of people, dealing a lot of characters,
yeah.
sometimes you just wanted to like shut the mouth and just like sit around, say no people. I just wanted like kind of a me time. Because I'm a person, I can deal with different people, but I need my time as well. I need my me time. So I really look forward that. So
Okay.
immediately after the trip, I just want to sit at home, play with my dogs, eat good food, just drive around, go for my run or do my activities. So whenever I face any challenges, so I either go to the gym or either I go for hiking, running. That's my medication, I should say.
Okay.
Like after you started Mountain and Sea, like has it been like, have you had any difficult clients or experiences?
Especially a lot, because that's what I was telling. So when the people are coming for these kind of trips, especially adventure trip, we are not just doing any random like going and seeing and coming back.
Yeah.
So we are more doing adventure trip. So the people will call us and they have different type of questions. And if the person is traveling first time, their family will also give the pressure.
Yeah.
Like they also more worried about like what exactly, if anything happens, so what is going to be the next step. So now we are going to do a Leh Ladakh bike trip. So it's actually a very simple trip. I can say that, but obviously we're just like riding through the high altitude areas. But there are people more worried about it, but there are people more chill. They just like, okay, I'm coming for the trip. That's it. But there are people who are more worried, like if anything happens, if any AMS hits, what is going to happen? Like how you guys are going to take me back, and how will be the food? How will be the accommodation, like
Yeah,
lot of
work
questions, lot of things will come.
Yeah.
So we have to make them understand, and sometimes we feel like, oh shit, I don't want this customer. We need the customer. Obviously,
Okay.
we're doing this as business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think like a lot of people respect things in a way that they are also human beings, right? End of the day, some people think, okay, we are paying them, so they have to do it. So could be that also. Like
I think that's
now,
There are people like that. There
Like
are
that,
people
yeah?
like that. Obviously, there are people who write us like, okay, in my room there is leakage. What I can do, bro? You went for a trip. I arranged a hotel booking, everything. So can I just go and ensure that the room is not leaking?
Yeah.
So the people are there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Literally
especially
there are-
service based, right? Like all
Service-based,
of
yeah.
us, like all three of us are in service based. So you have to do this every single day, answering questions and be patient.
50 to or 60% of the time you spend just stealing the person you're as our client.
For me, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rather than doing the other actual work.
No, not really. It's parallel. Like
Okay.
it's not like, okay, once I'm done with the client, then I can focus. It's not. It's ongoing, right? That whole 1 year of my project, it's site work is happening and I'm dealing with the client. So
Okay.
It's
So are you good with saying no?
no.
Okay.
I mean, I'm getting better at it.
Okay.
I think I was never a person. I'm still not a person who can confront.
Okay.
You know, I'm like, what will they
same.
think? What will they think?
Yeah.
You know,
Obviously
it's a
that
very,
question
yeah.
So
Saying no is
Since we born in that kind of a culture,
Conditioning.
I guess, yeah,
Conditioning.
conditioning.
so much of conditioning.
So we always tell, like, I still remember, like, my parents saying,
Yeah.
my father saying,
They are just
do that because other people will think this way. So maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, like, how to change that. But I think saying no is a very important thing. So people, I recently read somewhere that when you start saying no, your confidence level will also increase. So that is something I'm also trying to learn. But it will take time for sure, because
time.
for almost like 3 decades, we've been not doing that. So
Yeah.
to do it
and
suddenly
also
is
realize
not that
again,
easy.
this is from something I've learned from my friend Afsal. That, you know, in the beginning, 1-2 years, you're always like waiting to get more business. So you don't want to say no. You're like, oh, if I say no, then I'll lose this, right? But after like 2-3 years of you having like a solid foundation, then the clients are coming to you,
Okay.
right? Then you pick and choose. Like you can say no to a project if it's not aligning with you. Do fewer bigger projects in a year. Yeah, I think, but it's also experience, right? Like us not saying no, also we are learning so many things. If we were saying no from day one, maybe we would never know how the other side of the coin feels.
Yeah.
Like because we know what impact it has on us by not saying no. That's why
Okay.
we are learning so much.
Yeah. So, or also like you say no straight to the face, or you say no nicely.
Yeah, I think it depends, right? Like it depends on the people, the scenario, the circumstance. How do you want to approach it?
Okay. No, I'm not just talking about like in a work
Okay,
environment.
okay.
Even on a personal level.
Oh, personal level, yeah.
it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah, I think work-wise we can do
Easy.
that.
It's
yeah.
easier.
But person-wise,
Yeah.
I said,
Like, you know,
You know, maybe you're really like, I think with my friends, I can, whoever I'm comfortable with, I might
friends,
like say
it's
no
okay,
easy.
but you also have an extended circle, right? Like a friend of mine wants to meet,
Uh-huh.
and I have no energy to meet. And I'll be like, oh, what if I tell? She would have asked me 3 times in a row.
Okay.
Then now I'm like, okay, I'll meet. No, not wholeheartedly, but I just want to make up and not make her feel bad. Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah,
that's-
if we can't say no to a friend, then that person is not.
Yeah,
a
I'm
friend.
not talking about a friend. I think with friends it's different. You
Yeah.
can say.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm
So also like, this is another question. So you have like, we all are adults, like we have different like struggles every single day. Are you guys making any new friends these days?
I am.
Yeah. It's,
Obviously,
yeah.
you're-
my job is that.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
but I can say that not. So I have a circle. Not inside that circle, I can say that. But I'm making friends.
Okay.
I'm meeting a lot of good human beings. Lot of
You learn a lot from their culture,
Exactly, yes.
their food and stuff, right?
Yeah. And they say, right, when you travel with a person, you know a lot about them. So, I
And
think
the best part about my travel concept is we will say no to the people because we are choosing the customers.
Mm-hmm.
So if a person wants to come for a trip, so we ask them to write the questionnaire,
Okay.
and we will say if you're in or not.
That's so cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
so
is
we
nice.
are not randomly taking it, like picking, because
Yeah.
since we two women are doing, like
Correct.
since me and my cousin is doing this business, so we want to make it like complete safer side.
You're right.
Okay, for you also.
Yes, for us
Okay.
also, for our
For your
other
other.
buddies also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we literally learned since last year, so it's almost a year now. So we literally learned how to say no to the people that we can't accommodate you in our trip. We obviously we have to do some dramas also since
Yeah.
sometimes we have to do some dramas, but still I can completely say that we have learned to say no to some people to make sure that the trip is going in a good,
Okay.
good.
So what question is like exactly you
The
asked?
questionnaires are going to be like how, first of all, the personal details like
So it's like applying for a visa?
kind of not
Statement
that,
of purpose.
yeah, kind of, because but first of all we wanted to understand how that person is, like how adventure, like how physically
Yeah.
they are fit to do this kind of activity.
That is very important.
Yeah, so we try to ask them to fill the questionnaire and we do a call with them. We try to do a complete face, since we are doing everything through online, so we can't meet the person, right? So we try to do a face-to-face call and we try to understand from their side.
So you do with every person who.
Every person, most of the people.
Oh, that's good.
Since if I know.
If you know like them personally in a way.
I don't do that.
Okay,
But
if-
if a random person is coming to the trip,
Yeah.
so obviously we try to do it.
Okay, that's a good
so
approach.
good.
Yeah, because not everybody do that actually.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to spoil the trip, first of all.
Okay.
And a lot of girls are coming to the trip since we girls are going.
Yeah.
Like they have the comfort zone with us. A lot of people, because a lot of girls wanted to travel since we too have started, since we women have started. So they have that so much
Comfort.
comfort space with us, and they are traveling because of this reason.
Okay. I think also recently there are a lot of girls only trips as well.
Yes, lot.
It's
But
lot,
ours
lot.
is not a girls only trip.
Yeah.
Ours is not at all a girls only trip. So we
Are you planning for?
not really. I don't know, because I'm not a person who can just travel just with girls. I feel I don't know because I have a lot of most of the friends are boys.
Yeah.
I have a lot of boys friends.
And I also, I mean, I'm not being very generic, but also say like you are, as a person, you are very adventurous, which most men do. So also could be that reason as well.
Yeah, because like.
But I don't do that adventurous, so I'm an exception.
So I always wanted to make it challenging.
Yeah.
So I am that person. I wanted to challenge myself. So I was thinking about this. So why I am doing these kind of activities? So I always wanted to be that strong girl. Like since kid, I always wanted to be the strong, because I can see that my brother is doing everything. My brother is like very strong. So when he hits me, I always feel the pain. But when I hit him, he don't feel the pain. So I always, since that time, I wanted to be the strong girl. So maybe that is the reason I have left the mountain. I recently I was thinking about this. Why
You're-
I am doing these kind of such activities? Maybe I wanted to feel that I'm strong.
Is your younger brother or elder?
Elder.
Okay.
He hits me like thrash me. Okay, still not. Now I can thrash him.
Now you have a husband also who's fine.
Okay. I think like we have covered most of the topics. Like we can go on and on and on, but
Yeah.
whoever is watching, they might feel bored.
Yeah.
And we are feeling hungry also. It's time.
You order the food.
Very good question. Yeah, I mean that's all. So just last one question before we conclude. It's more of a wrap up, I would say. So we discussed a lot about like how you started, like your childhood. We didn't go in deep about childhood, but mostly about our work, how we started, how we took the risk. So what is the biggest reflection you have throughout this journey? And what do you tell your younger self, something you want to change or you want to rethink?
I will say I'm super proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Same.
it.
Same.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so that's the journey is worth the effort and worth the
Yeah. I mean,
everything.
I think if we had to go back and undo anything, it wouldn't be this journey, no? It would be some other journey.
Okay, so
Right.
this journey you have done the right things,
Right and wrong things.
but you are in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking my past, I can say that I have done really good job. My past was like amazing.
Okay.
And even the present is amazing. I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward for my future.
Okay. So yeah, on that note, like, what do you don't want to be in the future? Like some.
Lazy person.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a lazy person.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
want to
that's
be a
good.
lazy person. I wanted this energy. I mean, until I am
Yeah.
80 or 90.
Okay.
So cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, even I don't want to be a lazy person.
Okay. I think like that is something discipline, laziness, like getting tired. So that are the few things like which
Yeah.
most people face after 30, right? So hopefully. And so yeah, we are coming to the conclusion. Just before we conclude, you can tell about your Instagram profile, your company's Instagram profile.
So my personal page is Jujube,
Mhm.
Nishita Chandran Bodwar. So Jujube is a fruit name. So
Can you spell it?
Jujubee. I think
Okay.
that was the spelling.
Okay.
I don't remember, but yeah. And then I'm an entrepreneur, so I have two companies. One is Sweatstrong. Sweatstrong is a fitness athleisure brands for women for now, but we are planning to expand that company as well. And along with Sweatstrong, we have a community here in Dubai. Anybody can join in that community. So it's almost all the events are free of cost. So we are training the people for marathon,
Oh.
and we are training the people for Ironman.
Oh, great.
Yes, and different types of activities are happening. We are training, like we are teaching skating. We are hiking is happening.
What is that?
Different
The balancing. What is it called?
Slackline.
Slackline.
Slackline is a different community, but yeah, there are
Sometime. Okay,
yes,
they call
yes. Slackline is a different community, but yes, we are also doing it. Rock climbing is happening, bouldering is happening, different types of
So,
all adventure activities.
Even during the summer, that happens.
Yes. So we are not doing the outdoor; we are doing the indoor most of the time. But the run is ongoing. All the other activities are ongoing.
Okay.
So anybody can join in that community.
So they can text you on your
write me
Instagram
to
DM.
my personal account, or write to my friends who are other admins are also there. And we and other companies, Mountain Meet Sea.
Yeah. Okay. That is. Or
Travel company. That's
Okay.
my new baby.
it's. I would rather call that as an adventurous travel company.
Yes.
So for me, like that is the impression I'm getting every time I see.
We are more preferred to do activities than sightseeing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is. You have a very.
Yeah, the tagline, I think we have to, Ammu, I think we have to keep a tagline saying choose to alive.
Okay. You have a USP basically, like not any
Yeah.
other unique approach as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's your turn.
I think after I started my business page, I don't look at my personal page. So it's called Soul Space Design Studio.
Okay.
Anybody who is looking for, villa, apartment, or office design and build, please do check out my page, because I think when I started interior design journey, there is this, Dubai has a kind of aesthetics that's built up, right? Like sometimes very larger than life and,
Okay. Minimal, bright.
bright, beige. It's
all beige.
Beige.
Please, actually.
Huh?
Dubai
Do I
is
do
too
feel-
Yeah.
But largely, I feel.
Yeah, interior designing is for the newer phase, basically.
Yeah. So what we do is really cater to your story. Like, let's say now, for example, we are doing Nishita's house, right? Like, it's not just doing up the house for the sake of it. Like, literally, we sit through the person, our client, like for many, many calls, understand their likings, how their lifestyle is, probably stories from their travel, and then take inspiration from those travel. And then it's not a house that we are creating, it's an experience that we are creating.
Okay.
Yeah, so anybody who's looking to get their space done, write to us.
I mean,
Write
somewhere
to
here,
us.
somewhere here.
Here.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time. I mean, I know like you were traveling and came just
Came back.
You just came back,
Thanks.
and thanks for like all the effort.
And sleep.
But you had the most energy here.
Yeah.
Probably. And also for you, like I know it's a busy
Yeah.
time after holiday.
Yeah.
But thank you anyway.
Thank you, Natif.
Cut.